Hello everyone! Welcome back to Fall Crafts. I'm Miss Lizzie here at the library, and today we're going to do another really fun fall craft. So this fall craft involves leaves. Now it's the point of fall where, I don't know about you, but in my backyard it's full of leaves. All the different leaves have fallen, it's starting to get colder. So I thought we'd do a craft centered around leaves. So we're going to make some leaf animals. Now, the first one we're going to make is a hedgehog. So what you're going to need is some paper. I have some brown construction paper, but you can use, again, any color construction paper you want, depending on what color you want your hedgehog to be, or you can use white paper and then you can color it in to your heart's content or whatever your little one wants to do. And I have some scissors, a pencil just to trace, a black marker for little details, glue, some wet glue, that'll work best with the leaves. And then I have some googly eyes, which is totally optional. You don't need to have googly eyes, you can always draw them on, but we have them here at the library and they're really fun and cute, so if you have them, that would also be really fun to add. Okay, so first I'm going to start out by tracing kind of a hedgehog shape. I'll show you kind of what I think that looks like. It's mostly just because we're going to use the leaves as their spikes on their back. So you kind of just need the front of them will show, but you need some base for the leaves to stick onto. So I'm just drawing kind of, and this can be really fun for the kids to do. Some of them are a little bit older if they want to draw, or it can also be fun for little ones as well, or if you want to pre-plan any caregivers, if you wanted to draw it first and then they can just cut it out if they're old enough to use scissors, or if you find a template online, whatever's easier. So there's mine. I don't know if you can see that. I just kind of traced kind of a rough outline of what I kind of think a hedgehog would look like. And now I'm going to cut my little hedgehog out. And this is a great activity to do with kids to get them out of the house. You can go on a really fun leaf hunt, and you can pick up all different kinds of leaves and talk about the different kinds. Like I have some oak leaves here. I have some maple leaves. That's what I have in my backyard. It would be really cool if, you know, to see all the different leaves you can find, or even maybe pine needles, and that would be really great to use for quills and talk about kind of the differences between pine needles and the other leaves. And it's just really fun to talk about the colors and the shapes and sizes. I have a whole bag to use different ones, and then you can kind of create what you want with what you have, which is kind of what I'll show you a little later. So I have my little hedgehog cut out. Very cute, very basic. And now I'm going to choose some leaves that I think would be best suited. I have some smaller maple leaves here, and they kind of point at the top. So I think I'm going to go with those. I'm going to take probably about 3. I'm going to take the stem off, and I'm going to start by gluing it on like that. And see, it kind of looks like a little hedgehog. I think this craft is really cute and really simple, and again, great a first craft if kids are starting to learn to use scissors or glue if they're old enough, or if you just are ready for the mess. And also to go outside and do kind of a leaf scavenger hunt and collect some leaves. So I'm just putting I have some tacky glue here, just putting that kind of on the bottom of the leaf and a little bit on the middle just so it sticks. Don't need too much. And I'm just gonna press down my little hedgehog. And it looks like this. And you could leave it at this if you wanted to, but I think it's so much more fun and exciting to kind of layer a bunch of different leaves, different colors, and kind of make them nice and spiky, like a hedgehog. So I'm going to cut the stem off this leaf as well, and kind of cut it in half a little bit, cut the bottom, kind of add some fun layers. I think I'm gonna cut the side a bit. And that's what's so great about this, is you can kind of let the kids just be super creative, which is great with any craft. Things like this, and seeing all the different leaves and colors, and then, you know, getting to talk about why the leaves change and all the different things happening in the fall outside is really exciting. Okay, I think I'm going to cut this one as well. And kind of hide that, yeah. And this is a pretty simple craft in terms of there's not a lot of mess. You don't need too much, and if you have leaves in your backyard, then kind of good to go. Or it could be great if you wanted to go on a nature walk with any of the kids and maybe find different leaves, see how many different types of leaves you can find. Maybe there's some on the nature walk that wouldn't be in the backyard, and that could be really fun. So here's my kind of finished hedgehog. I layered some different leaves to kind of add different colors and textures, and you could even, like, I cut up some of the leaves, and you could even cut off like little tips and keep adding them and make it all layered. Whatever works, or whatever you feel you want to do. I'm actually going to cut the side of this one a little bit because I made my hedgehog a little small in the face. And I want to be able to see his little eye. So yeah, and you can trim it to however you want. So we can see his little nose sticking out. So I'm going to take a black marker and just add a little dot to give him a little nose. I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm going to add a little eye and a little mouth. How cute! Super simple, super easy, and you can make a bunch of these. You can glue them all onto a paper, make a little family, or just make them individually and they can play with them, carry them around. I know kids love to make things and then just hold on to them. So that's a little hedgehog done, and like I said, you could add a googly eye. So I'm going to do that for that portion of it just to show, but again, you can also just use a marker and it looks just as cute, I think. I'm just gonna glue on the side. Ooh. Here's a little now he looks really silly. Okay, so that's the little hedgehog done. So the next part of this is kind of experimental. It's kind of whatever if you're the caregiver or any of the kids, what you can kind of come up with. This is where imagination can run wild, and this can be a lot of fun. So I have a bunch of different leaves here that I collected, and this is kind of where you can, like I said, use your imagination and see what you can create. So I'm looking at all my different leaves. I have some really big ones, wide ones, some long ones, some small ones that are really pretty colors, like this one's really pretty, I think, red and green. And I'm going to think of an animal that I can make. I'm thinking of making an owl. And I'm going to put him on I have some nice orange paper here. Again, this, you can use any kind of paper you'd like. And I think I'm just gonna try to put a bunch of leaves together and see what I can come up with. And this is great, and you can use reference pictures, maybe in picture books, or talk about different animals you can make and see what you all can come up with. Maybe animals you see outside or in the fall time, maybe some squirrels, raccoons, birds, foxes, or even maybe your any favorite animals from the zoo or anything you see in books, elephants, giraffes, or maybe a pet if you have a dog or a cat, and just kind of be really creative with this. This is what can be really fun with it. So I think I'm gonna make an owl, and I'm gonna try to layer like this. We're gonna see how this turns out. So I'm gonna glue this down to the paper. So if you wanted to make an owl, you can kind of use me as a guide. I know sometimes it can be kind of hard to look at leaves, even for the little ones who are so creative and so imaginative. It can be kind of hard and weird looking at leaves and being like, this doesn't look like an animal. So this can be a great guide. Or you can just grab a bunch. Maybe they don't even know what they're going to do yet, and then go inside and talk about, oh, do we think we can make animals with these? That could be a lot of fun. And kind of, we can show them all different kinds of shapes they can make and all different kinds of animals. So I'm just kind of roughly going a little crazy with the glue and gluing some leaves down. And this is one of those things that is obviously going to need some time to dry. But what's nice is it can kind of, like things like this can be put and left, so it doesn't need, like you don't need to wait overnight to play with it or something. Okay, I think for its little head, I'm going to use a smaller leaf. So I have a smaller leaf that I'm going to use for its head. Here. And this is great to talk about colors as well. I have 3 different color leaves on my owl right now, which is really cool. I think I'm going to layer some feathers. This is even me. I'm feeling very creative with this. You know, I'm kind of just seeing what I can come up with, and it's quite fun and therapeutic. I think kids would really enjoy this. I'm enjoying it. And what a special thing for them to have. I think I'm going to use little leaf tips for the kind of like horns, ears. So I just cut off little tiny tips for ears. And I don't want to forget a little beak. So I'm going to use another tip of a leaf to make a little beak for my owl. And then I think we're gonna put on some eyes and be done, at least with mine. It may seem kind of extraneous, but it's a lot of fun to do. Okay, so this is kind of what I came up with as a rough sketch. So I layered a bunch of leaves and added some wings on the side, kind of put a longer leaf underneath his tail, his body. I cut some tips of the leaves for little horns, and I attached little beak. So I'm going to add some googly eyes on this one just because it might be a little bit harder to see with the marker. I'm going to do some big ones. But this would look really nice also with some drawn eyes, especially Mr. Owl, wise old owl, who always seems a bit sleepy. My glue doesn't come out. There we go. Cool. There he is. Very cute. It's a very cute, very fun activity again. Like I said, and you can add some things in the background, so we can draw, maybe he's sitting on a branch. And maybe you can draw some feet, or they can add feet. Maybe we can talk about what sound does the owl make, and where does the owl live, and that's all fun things you can do as part of this activity. And like I said, you can, depending on what you find or what your imagination tells you to do, you can create a bunch of different little animals and lots of different kinds. And I would love to see what you all come up with. I made an owl and a hedgehog, and if you want to make the same, that's totally fine. I would love to see all the different creations, and they all will come out so different. That's what's so wonderful about this, because they'll all be so unique. Or if you make any other types of animals, I would love to see what other people can come up with. So thank you so much for watching, and I have some books to kind of go along with this. So if you wanted to add some books to this activity, especially some books, some nonfiction books kind of about leaves, we have a book called Investigating Why Leaves Change Their Color. And this is a wonderful picture book. This is by Ellen Renee, and it talks all about kind of how the trees grow and what photosynthesis is, and why they grow leaves, and then how they would change color throughout the seasons. And then we also have Leaves in Fall. So this one's more kind of centered just around fall leaves, sorry. And again, talks about all the different leaves and what colors they turn, and different leaves on the trees. And if I have any more books, which we have a lot of books on fall and leaves, you can check online for our book lists. We have some wonderful fall book lists online in the kids section, and I'll list some other books centered around leaves and fall in the description of this video as well. So I hope you enjoyed this craft, and if you make it, please let me know and send any pictures to the Drake Library Children's Facebook page or email them to us. We would love to see it. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye!